Hello, hello, and welcome to my game project. I am Caesar, and I'm currently working on this fantasy style, like store simulator type blacksmith game. And this is very early on concept wise, and the mechanics are pretty basic. Well, I mean, kind of. I guess they're basic. I don't really know blueprints that much. Or I didn't know blueprints that much. I have done a ton of learning throughout this process. But so far, what we got here is we got a couple ores. So we got iron, copper, and some coal to fuel the furnace. This is going to be the furnace, and it's going to be the forage. And the furnace is actually going to be on a level below, like a basement level. So the this is actually going to be placed like up here, and there'll be a floor, so you'll have to go downstairs to get here. But I haven't laid that out yet. I did have to restart basically, well, actually, literally from scratch. I had the project kind of going on, but I kind of went solo with it now, and I kind of just restarted and made everything again. Just some current stuff that I have. Let's see, what do I have to show? Static meshes, just basic meshes, really, just the coals and everything. Currently, the ore is the same model with just a different material slapped on it. The iron bar, the actual bars, so like the copper, the iron, scrap, and steel. Again, same model, different materials. But in later versions of the game, I do plan on having some more unique models for different materials. Maybe some more basic ones like iron and copper and steel will all have like the same model, different mat or different material. And then other things like, I don't know, mithril or something like that, or orichalcum or some like fantasy type metal will have some different model because it's higher tier or something. We have the bar mold, which is just a basic, well, bar mold. The anvil currently doesn't do anything. It's here, but it doesn't do anything. I did model everything. I modeled this, that, like everything is made from scratch. I'm not reusing any assets or any textures. Everything is something that I made. I think. Yeah. As far as I know, everything I've done is mine. This, the way I did this, if I can let me see if I can show. Honestly, I don't know if I'm able to show the wireframe, but I feel like there should be a way to show the wireframe. Oh, right there. Okay, so as you can see, let me. There's a. I can isolate this. I believe. Show only selected. There we go. Okay, so it's probably gonna be kind of hard to see, but if you know some about modeling, these are all just planes here. So separate planes going all the way across. Um, the cylinder is a little bit higher poly, but that's because it's a cylinder and I don't want it to look too jagged. Now let's show everything. And let's get out of wireframe. Boom. So the bricks are actually separate. So I modeled one brick, right? So a singular brick was modeled out. Then I made it, put it into ZBrush, high resed it, sculpted it, put it into Substance Painter, painted it, and added all the highlights and everything, and then put it into um back into Maya and duplicated it up and then duplicated it all the way around. Put it into Substance Painter to bake everything on here, including the top ones. The top ones were also, it's I made one single row, or column, or I don't I'll say row. Same process, modeled, uh, sculpted, high res, baked onto a sing. So this is all just one plane. So if you look here, it's let me slow down a lot. It's like razor thin because it's just one plane. And you see this little like it looks like it has some depth to it, but that's because it has a normal map attached to it to add that like bumpiness to it. Burners, same thing. It's just a plane with a baked on texture. Bricks, everything's the same. Everything's pretty low poly, just the textures make it look a little bit more high poly. Currently, if I run this game and I'll do a simulate, yeah, we'll do simulate standalone. This is what I currently have here. Once it loads up here, and let me see if I can make it full screen. Let's try this. There we go. All right. So I forgot to remove the anvil because the anvil doesn't do anything. Like it literally doesn't do anything. Oh, I have the ray cast or the line trace. I mean, so we're gonna ignore that. Um, right now you can pick up objects. So you can pick up the ore. You can put it into the tongs. You can put it into the crucible, or you can have the crucible and you can be like, I want to pick this up, and it'll attach it to the crucible, so you don't have to like I don't have to put the crucible down, then grab the ore, put it in, and pick it. You could just pick it straight up. Whoops. Boom. Oh, there we go. And then same thing with this. This can pick up straight from here. Or if you already have a crucible on the ground with, sorry about all the lines. I'll make sure to turn that off for the next one. But if you have a crucible with the ore in it, you can just pick it up. Go to one of these burners here and place it down. And then in these sections here, I'm gonna make another model. And we're just gonna have more of like coals uh in these sections to put weapons in or to put bar molds in. And that's just to heat up bars and whatnot, or to heat up a weapon while you're using the anvil on it. And then for here, there's no UI besides this indicator dot, or like this reticle dot in the middle. I guess is a little square, not a dot. But that's just to know where the line trace is going to shoot out. But I can put everything, I can put the coal in there and the heating will start. And once that starts heating up, this will melt. And you can see in the top left, it said melted. Put another iron in here. It'll say melted again. Where'd I put this? Here it is. And then again, once this is melted, so you can see that's melted there now, I can grab it and pour out a bar. And it resets the crucible, so I can put something else in there. Like I can do a copper one if I want to. Or if I do iron, so ignore that copper one for now. Let's put iron in there. You know what? I'll put the copper one in there first. Let me add some more fuel just in case. I don't have an indicator for how fuel is displayed yet, but that is a plan to add. These two have melted, so this was copper, put copper in there. This was coal, put coal in here. And each one has each individual crucible runs its own process for what it's melting and what it makes. So this bars currently don't have. I can't do anything with the bar. They don't have any. It's like the anvil. This is kind of where I'm left off. But boom, steel has been made. I know the top left says hello, but that's just for me to make sure that it actually made something because I had some issues earlier. And then this is copper. Boom. So iron, steel is a little darker. It's hard to tell the difference, but this one's definitely darker. And then copper texture. And then if you add a recipe that is not on the list, so if I were to add that copper in there, and then once that melts, ooh, if I still have heat, I might not have heat. We'll have to see. Please have heat. Yay. Okay, and then so we have copper in there, and then copper and coal don't make anything, right? That doesn't exist in, at least in my game, doesn't exist. Grab this bar mold. and it's gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna grab this, and then boom, doesn't make a doesn't make an or. It should make an or though, but it doesn't. That's probably because I had to fix these that they weren't rendering in, and I had to call a because these are soft references, and I had to make them into a like a hard reference, a class reference. And I think I only made it for the ors that are, or for the recipes that are true and found in the map list, and I forgot to add it to this. So now I'll add it to the bug list. I need to fix that. But that's an easy fix. That's what I have so far though. So far that is all. Let me. I made no way to exit that. So let me just close that. I need to add an exit button. That's what I have so far. Um, and then for blueprints, I just have a crafting manager for a actor component and a heating manager for a heating component, so I can attach that to any future things that might need heating or crafting recipes. Like the anvil will have the crafting manager to let the anvil know what it's trying to craft based on the item that's in its slot. Materials, I just have a master or blueprint, and then I have the children, and all the children read from the master. Same thing from here. And equipment, same thing. The equipment master, and then you have the equipment tongs, crucible, and bar mold. They all share the master. They have their own separate code pieces that are in each one, but the base is generally what holds the majority of what the actions are going to be. These are just like the crucible just has the heating up and smelting extra stuff because tongs don't need to heat up or smelt. Forage is separate, furnace is separate, pretty basic. Character, I just made literally a tiny arms. That's all it does. It's just little arms. And then everything has little sockets in them to attach to some collision spheres for detecting stuff. And that is pretty much where we're at so far. Yeah, all this is what comes in the engine already, so that's none of my stuff. This is all of my stuff. Materials pretty basic. I have a master base material, and then these are the children that are made from that. And I have a master complex, and then the children for the complex. And then here's where I store all my textures and stuff. So I'm using the um color, so color texture, and then normal maps. So these are all the baked normal maps. This is the players didn't see this, but these are just intersecting stuff because I baked it all as one object, obviously. Um, and then this one, which is the I think it's roughness. No, this is roughness. This is definitely roughness. So this is probably I don't know what this is. Ambient occlusion is what I'm guessing. I honestly don't know. This looks more like ambient occlusion to be honest, but who knows? I can actually find out because I think I ordered it properly in the master material here. So yeah, ambient occlusion, roughness, metallic. So they all get sent in there. And then the children, so like the forage, I just update the textures here to the proper textures and then save and apply. And then that way, if I need to add extra elements, I just change the master material there. Interfaces. Oh, I didn't talk about I just have a couple interfaces that communicate processes, like grab and place, just attach the socket and whatnot. These, I don't think they have anything here. It's just like attaching to socket. You're attaching the whatever the raycast hit, and if your hand is clear, then attach it to your hand, and it just returns the item reference of what you're attaching, or the actor object reference of what you're attaching. and it's just kind of like little basic things here to execute things. Crafting. I don't think these have any. I guess crafting actor reference. And then data tables. I have data tables for tags. I separated all the tags because I wanted to. To be fair, that's literally just why. I could have one just data table with every single tag, but I thought it'd be easier for my organizing just separate tags for each thing. As an example, ore tags. I had the master ore tag, then just iron ore, copper ore, coal ore, and then whatever additional I'll just add and then add it to the tag, and then it'll be it'll be just added to the system basically. And then I have the crafting. So I have the structure for crafting is just getting the gameplay tag and the integer, and then getting the actor soft reference based on the crafting materials. The reason I'm doing gameplay tags and integers, in my opinion, I guess I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, but I think it would be cheaper to process a gameplay tag versus processing the actor object references and then having to get those actor object references and then store them somewhere to process them. Instead, I just process the tags, which should just be a text, right? Just a little text that's attached to everything. So I tag everything. Everything's been tagged. And then based on those tags, it has a predetermined soft reference and then turns it into a hard reference and then implements it into the game. Um, and here's how it is. Like, if the Crucible has the iron ore tag twice because it consumed 2 iron ores, then it has the blueprint ingot for the iron ore as a soft reference, and then it gets processed and called in as a actual material. And then we got copper and steel, and then anything that's not on this list. So if it's not found anywhere on this list, it automatically gets turned into scrap. I just need to attach make the async, make hard reference or whatever it is. Um, and that's it for now. Yeah. So future plans, I am going to probably finish any ore things or any bugs that I found, like the scrap not coming out, or maybe add some sort of element that will show me the heat value and timer on the heat value so that I know, or the fuel amount and the heat value so that I know that there's fuel in the furnace and there's where the heat value is currently, because the heat has to ramp up to 100 and then it'll melt. So if I just put the crucible and an item in there and then put a coal in there, it has to ramp up to 100. Then the crucible ramps its temperature up to 100, and then it melts the item after a specific delay. And that's just to have some sort of semi-realism of, hey, you have to wait till it heats up. You can't just instantly melt it. Once it's fully heat up, like if the crucible is already at 100 and you put the item in, then you just wait the small delay and then it instantly melts. So that's a little different, but that's because you already waited the time, right? But probably add some sort of indicator to show the fuel amount and the temperature. Make sure the scrap works. I gotta fix that. Then work on the anvil. That's definitely gonna be next. And the anvil is just gonna draw out a blade based on what you put in it. But I think I'm trying to think how I want to make the anvil because I want the player to be able to select what they're going to forge, or what they're gonna, yeah, like what they're gonna hammer out. So are they gonna hammer out a long sword, a short sword, a dagger? Are you gonna try to do a mace or something? Because there's gonna be like a variety of weapons that the player's gonna be able to make. So I need to figure out how to do that. The current idea is having a UI element. Uh, one sec. Sorry, I've been talking a lot. I need to clear my throat a little. But having a UI element, a like selection scroll, like uh what's the word? Okay, like a circle, right? Like a pie graph circle that pops up, and then the player clicks like the top area says dagger, and then uh short sword, long sword, mace, hammer, warhammer, like different items, and the player just goes up and clicks it, and that'll be based on the material and the um size of the ingot you put in. So let's say you put in an iron ingot in here, it'll give you iron short sword, iron dagger, iron hammer, or like mace or hammer, right? And then if you put a large ingot, which basically it'll just be, instead of two um, iron ingots, it'll be four, or two iron ore, it'll be four iron ore or something like that, and it'll just give you, I'll give you a crucible that is just bigger, and a bar mold that's also bigger, and then you put the large. You basically, you have the small iron ingot, or oh, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, the current crucible has two levels. This one has two levels where you put one ore in it or you put two ores in it. No, no. See, I thought I was going somewhere, but I still need to differentiate from what item you're going to be making. So yeah, I think I'll stick with the UI. So make a bar mold, heat up the bar mold. Once it's up to temp, put it in the anvil, and then you're going to hammer it. Or put it in the anvil, and then on the anvil, you'll have to choose what item. It'll ask you, like, you're making a iron dagger. Okay, and then you start hammering it, and it starts forging out the iron dagger. I'm thinking of adding cycles in it, but we'll see how that goes. There's two ways I can go about it, and I'm either gonna do cycles, as in you start hammering and the material starts cooling down, and then you have to reheat it and then rehammer, or because I want to do quality, right? I want to have a quality of the weapon. So if you're hammering it while it's too cold, then you start losing quality of the item, right? Like you start at 100% quality, you start hammering it, it starts getting really cold, and you keep hammering it, and then you start losing that quality. Um, or instead of you having to take it out and put it, reheat it, and then come back to the anvil and keep hammering it, just add like a mini game where it could be like that, like the bar, the little bar thing where the bar goes up and down, right? Like it goes like this, like woo. And let's say you, like, we have one section in the middle that's green, and then this is surprisingly a little perfect. Because you have the section in the middle that's green, section on the side that's orange or yellow, and then red on the thing. And you have to click when it's in green to get perfect quality. And maybe you have to click it, like, based on the material, you have to click it a couple times. So if it's like a dagger, you only have to click it 3 times. And if you hit it perfect every time, you have a perfect blade or something like that. That could be a possibility. Um, or some other form of mini games. I don't know. That's further. I'm getting too far. I'm getting too far ahead. Currently, just the anvil's going to be next, and get some weapons to get forged out, and get the hammer to just the hammer. Um, all the artistic stuff's gonna come later, like more animations and proper holding of everything. That's gonna come later. So right now it's all just kind of like a block out, basically. So that's it. If you would like to, please, leave your feedback in the comments. Any suggestions, maybe for the mini game or how I should do the anvil process, or if you have anything you can think of or want to tell me, or anything, leave it in the comments. I'll make sure to read everything as much as I can. And that should be it. So until then, I will see you all in the next one. Peace.